With my dad coming in to help on the van last week, we've been able to get a lot done. Not only were we able to create a completely custom solar panel roof rack, but we also installed my backup camera, outside floodlights, and tacked up my tongue and groove ceiling. In this episode, we focus our efforts solely on creating our unique dinette futon bed system.
Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful day out here in Utah. I don't think we've had rain in like 10 days. I don't think we're forecasted of rain for like another 10. So the dry, hot Utah summers are in full effect right now. We're kind of just like in the assembly stage where we're just measuring, cutting, just making sure everything lines up and make sure we're putting it together properly. I burned myself, by the way, soldering some wires, which kind of sucks, but we're all right. Anyways, here is the bed, and this is all bolted in now. It's super secure. It's only going to get more secure once we put kind of the beams across the top. This is going to get all faced in, and this is all insulated now, so if you were wondering about the wheel wells, they are all fully insulated and stocked this up with the road noise, and this will help just keep it even better insulated. So tell me what you're thinking of. Just a lot of assembly work today, just, really making sure everything's secure, adding nailers where we need to add nailers, going right into the floor here too, so everything is very solid. And then we also started putting this guy in over here. I'm actually about to go run to Home Depot before they close tonight to get more screws because we ran out of screws. But we have started putting this other side in here. So you can see this is the walkway. The walkway is basically established. It's 20 inches on the dot, which is super kind of just what we planned for, so that worked out really well. Right now Joe and I are putting together like kind of the last bit of our battery box here. We beefed this up with 2x2s, and now we're just trying to like add in little different nailers kind of on the backside to make sure we have support. How do you think it's going, Joe?
We're making progress little by little into the burning the midnight oil here.
So this is the one area we chose to use 2x2s, where everywhere else we're using basically 1x2s and 1x3s, just because between the batteries and the inverter, this is going to probably be the most, take the most abuse, or this needs to be the most durable, put it that way. So I think it's going to go really well. Do we just pop this off and put it up? It's only 2 screws. Okay, so we are absolutely cooked. It's almost midnight. We've just been trying to crank out that box that I showed you guys, so we're both gonna hit the hay, try to get another big day tomorrow. Just keep cutting and putting stuff together. I don't think it's the most entertaining, but it is what it is, I guess. So I'll see all of you guys tomorrow. We have battled some nasty weather all day on this Sunday. I think I jinxed it yesterday by saying it's going to be a great weekend to work on the van. It's basically been on and off, pouring, that kind of sprinkles, and it comes back, on and off thunderstorms, literally all day long. So we've set up a makeshift sort of tent, awning things so we can keep working. This is our bed system. Like, this whole thing is in. We have this entire wheel well side in as well, even all the way up to the battery compartment, which I can show you guys. It's not entirely done, but for the most part it is. We basically covered it with this super thin underlayment piece here, which just looks so great. And you can see we kind of have our back supports up there, which will all get covered, so it's all making sense. It's so incredibly secured. Like I mentioned, I might have already mentioned, but we have it down into the floor braces. We have it ultimately connected over to the studs. This is just really constructed really well. So my task right now is that I'm essentially lining up all of the boards here. We've had to cut them a little different lengths because the ones that are pulling across are different lengths as the ones that are going to be fixed here. Again, might not make the most sense, but it will once you see it. It's actually a very simple concept. It was similar to what was in my last van, just designed a little more differently. So I'm kind of fitting all the slots. So my dad is just ripping. We made a template and he just keeps cutting kind of one after the other. So I'm kind of doing more the engineering, design, fitment side of things. basically have two different lengths here. The long ones are all the fixed ones. Again, we're using 1x2s because I think it would give the most even distribution of weight and a lot of support when you pull it out, if that makes sense, rather than using a bigger wood, because each wood plank would be greater spaced apart. You'd have a longer distance where there's no wood, if that makes sense. So by having a smaller distance, you have more wood, but there's less of a gap in between each plank, if that makes sense. We have our templates here, which is telling us how far space we need each one, and they're basically gonna zip all of these in, and then the mobile ones that are gonna be moving, we're gonna then put in between here. So we're just making sure they're evenly spaced and they don't go too far out this way. Guys, this is the next day. I just got home from work. It's Monday. I apologize for the big jump. We finished the bed after what you saw last night, but we finished it in the dark again, and like on top of just being super tired from working the 3 straight days and it being pitch dark, I didn't want to show you guys the bed in the dark because it just kind of defeats the purpose. But with all that being said, I'm super stoked with how the bed came out. Before I show you the bed, I want to preface this by saying I did not come up with this design. This is a very common design. However, I think I kind of refined it. I haven't seen what I have done to it really from anyone that I know of. This design was in my old van. However, it was a little bit different, but it's basically just a standard futon design. So a big thing for me from my last van was that I wanted to be able to put the bed down by myself without having to get out of the van. And so that's basically how I designed this, was with that big thing in mind. Was I didn't want to have to get out of the van to put the bed down, because a lot of times I'm stealth camping somewhere, I'm just pulling into a spot, and I want to just be able to go into bed mode and go to sleep. So I broke this up into 3 main sections. Basically, you have an end section here, and so this is just 3 that will come over and sit on the end here. There's going to be an end cap here, so this is going to be raised up to be completely level. So that's going to go there. Then I have this one big middle section here, which is about 50 inches long. This whole thing is going to pull out and sit over there. So that's the second main section. The cool detail I put in was just this finger slot here, so you can kind of get, you know, your fingers in there and pull it out. It's the little details, the really little details. And then basically there's just the last section, which is another 3-piecer. And that's it. Now the entire bed pulls out on a slot design, and then the futon will basically just slide down and be a full-size mattress right here. And so when I'm done, I would just pull the futon back up and just slide all of these slots back in. Here's where I added my little twist to this pretty standard slot futon design. Another reason why we broke the bed up into the sections that we did was so that we could create kind of like a dinette seat. Now, if you miss it, I'm gonna have a table here that's gonna, I think, just fold down of some sort, so you can be on the futon working, eating dinner, things like that. But what are you gonna do when you have, I don't know, 4 or 5 people in your van if they just wanna come in and chill? So what I did was I made these slots seats. What I mean by that is that this one right here can just slide out, sit across on the footwell on this side, and now you have someone who can literally sit down, the table will fold down, and you could all just chill out here, eat dinner, do whatever you need to do. And the same thing goes on the other end. So you can literally have 4 people comfortably sitting around your table, all while having this same layout. So not only do you have a van now that basically has a variable bed with this rear access, you also have a huge garage underneath, and you have the ability to host up to 4 people comfortably by pulling out the slots on either side and creating some sort of dinette feeling to it. So I think you have like a 3 or 4 in 1 with this design. And like I said, that I haven't seen too many of, and it just kind of came to me as we were deciding how to kind of mix this up. It was like, this will work really well if we just leave enough cushion for a butt basically, and then this main one is the main sort of bulk of it that you pull out. So that'll go out on either side, and you can have a bunch of people sitting around your table just having a nice discussion or just playing cards or whatever, eating dinner. Like, I think it's gonna be really rad. So I think I'm gonna wrap episode 61 up right here. I am like incredibly stoked with how the bed came out. It turned out better than I thought it would. It took longer than I thought it would, just in terms of the design and the screws and pre-drilling, all this stuff. There was a lot that went into it, but I think I really think it turned out super well, is all I'm saying. So I'll see all of you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Take it easy, fam. Peace out.